Yo, growing a business is kind of tricky right now. Supply chains are squeezed, tariffs and trade policies are dynamic, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. You need clarity to come out on top. Without it, you risk falling behind. If only you could hop in the DeLorean and see the future, right? Thankfully, there's NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite has real-time forecasting to help you move ahead with confidence. This is your AI-powered business management suite and the #1 cloud ERP. Trusted by over 42,000 businesses, NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. And with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. The perfect product launch. It's the goal for every brand marketer. High heat, fast sellout, and fans posting recipes like trophies. What do Sydney Sweeney's soap drop, Taylor Swift's tickets, and your next launch have in common? Well, they're not bought, they're bragged about. Fanfare turns your drop into a moment. Fanfare cues real fans, blocks bots, and builds launch experiences worth screenshotting. Want hype without the heartbreak? Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook with our proven success formula and make your next launch unforgettable at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, fanfare.io/playbook.
My best advice is to test and in small quantities, because if you are going all in on something, you're like, I know this is going to be huge. For me, it's always been the things that I didn't expect to be big that end up being the big products, and the things that I'm like, this is going to sell out in an hour, that doesn't sell out in an hour.
I love hosting these podcast episodes, especially when I get to interview a business owner like today's guest, because I know nothing about this niche. And as a result, I get to ask questions without bias, without any understanding, so we can get deep into the why and the how. How did this even work? What is this about? And today I'm excited because this business owner actually came as a recommendation from not just a few of you, but even my own team members and assistant. Clean Mama. Becky from cleanmama.com. She's a business owner who's been at this for a while, and we get deep into how she runs her business. She even has created her own physical products to sell, ones that actually people subscribe to, physical products, because they deplete and then they have to get refilled and all this kind of stuff. And it's just fascinating because Becky's very open with us about how all this works. And I even ask her questions because there are some competitors or some other people in the clean or cleanliness organization space like Marie Kondo, and we do discuss what that's like and get her insights on how that helped or not helped her business, as well as the pandemic, which her business grew while everybody was at home. So Clean Mama, Becky from cleanmama.com. Let's chat shop. Let's talk about it. Here we go.
You're listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, a proud member of the Entrepreneur Podcast Network, a show that's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. He orders sausage or chicken when he's with his family at a crab house. Pat Flynn.
Becky, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So you are known as Clean Mama, and you started your business online around the same time that I did, around 2008, 2009. What do you remember about starting a business around that time? Because starting a business has definitely changed. What were the challenges for you back then?
Yeah, the biggest challenge was more like how to figure things out, like how to create a blog, how to use Blogger. I mean, that was
Blogger, yeah.
Big, trying to figure that out. When I started, there were a lot of, I can't even think of what they're called, but where you would like put a blog post on someone else's blog post, and then it would link like a blog hop.
Oh, like a carnival, right? I think that's what they were called or something like that.
So trying to figure out things like that, how to use Facebook when Facebook came out. I mean, it was just like more from a technical side that to me seemed like the hardest thing to try to figure out is just how do I do this? And then now you can put in like something very specific and you'll get an answer on how to do something. It wasn't like that then. You were kind of figuring out or asking people in your little group or, whatever, how to do something. And so it was just kind of different that way.
Yeah, those were the good old days where, it was kind of a fun puzzle that we were all piecing together, but it became very clear, I think, for you and your brand, what you were about. Can you tell the audience who's listening where this all started? What inspired you to create Clean Mama in the first place?
Yeah, I wanted to share my cleaning routine. So I had a cleaning routine that I was doing in my own home. Some of my friends were doing it. I was talking about it. And I wanted to have a public place to actually be sharing that. So I started creating documents in Word and learned how to convert them into a PDF, that's another thing. Like, how do you do this? So how to convert it into a PDF. And then I started sharing those online and selling them on Etsy in 2010. So it was kind of like, how can I share my routine and how I'm cleaning my home? Because I knew that it helped me. And I knew that from helping in my own experience in my home and trying to figure out how to keep the house clean all the time instead of just on the weekends when I didn't want to waste my time cleaning on the weekends. And so just figuring that out and then learning how to share that publicly, that's kind of where it all started for me. And I found that because it was kind of, the wild, wild west of the blog world, no one was really sharing about cleaning. And so I started, and then other people started, and it just kind of, now it's a thing. And it's fun because it's like a normal everyday sort of a thing that's been elevated to something more interesting than it really is, probably.
Yeah. No, it's great. And I do have questions about certain movements in this space that you're in that has happened. I know Marie Kondo came by soon after, and I'm curious to know how that affected your business. But even before we get to that, like as somebody who is posting online and you're sharing these things to help people, how do you help a person? I mean, I'm imagining that most of your audience are women who are at home and are just trying to keep the house in order. I think a lot of us, similar to going to the gym, it's like, okay, like, yes, I need to get fit. I know I need to go to the gym and that's the answer. But how do you get in front of those people and say, it's not quite that easy. And here are some things that can help you along the way. How did you nail your messaging early on? Because on your website now, Clean Mama, it's very clean, pun intended, but your word choices, your marketing is there, and you've been doing this for a very long time. So you got it down. How long did it take you to understand the messaging and the positioning and to really make a connection with your audience that was finding you?
Yeah, I mean, to be like totally honest, it's just how I would want to be talked to.
Love that answer.
It's what resonated with me. And I am my own case study, essentially, because I was desperate for a way to keep our house clean and trying to figure that out with different jobs. I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom for probably 2 years, and the rest of the time I was either teaching in a classroom, working multiple jobs. I worked overnight at Target. I was an admissions counselor that traveled. And then I started the blog and the business in between that. So I feel like I really was able to, I'm my case study. Does it work? And I mean, I do have the benefit that I enjoy cleaning. I don't mind it, but I like a clean house more than I like to clean. So trying to figure out that has always just been like the secret sauce for me, per se. The marketing is, I've gone back and forth with copywriters and looked for help and different things, but it always really comes back to when something's actually working, it's what I've actually written.
Yeah, I feel that.
And not what the paid copywriter wrote. And so, it's probably not what copywriters want to hear, but it usually is just like speaking to someone that's in a similar situation as me.
Yeah. And that's a great answer. And I think a lot of us online are creating resources for an earlier version of ourselves. And so just kind of listen to your gut and read things back. And that's amazing. When you started to promote and sell products, I'm curious, that's often a huge leap for a lot of people. Was that a big leap for you to go from content creator to somebody who was selling things? And what was that transition like? And what were perhaps the hurdles that you had to overcome to get to where you're at today?
Yeah, so I started my Etsy shop in 2010, and because I was selling PDFs at a time when no one else was selling PDFs, it was more of like getting over like yeah, you can buy something, but I'm not going to send it to you.
Were you getting a lot of people asking you, like, when does it come in the mail?
Yeah, right. So it was like that digital good kind of like starting point. It was even like I would take the email, copy the email, put it into my email, attach the document, and then manually send it. And I was doing that hundreds of times a day.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Because that's how, but then they started having apps that would sync into Etsy, and then Etsy actually created their own thing. So then you could upload the document and then it would automatically send from there. But that's not how it started. I was making the printables myself. I did not have a designer. So it was just like my time. And so it was great from a profitability standpoint, except for a lot of time, And then I've written 4 books. And so my first book came out in 2013. And that really kind of launched me into the product space. I was using a lot of affiliate marketing and linking to Amazon and working with different companies. And there were things I liked, but I didn't love them. So I wasn't able, and I couldn't like stand behind it. Like, this is such a great product. You need to buy it because it's going to work. I know it'll work for, I couldn't like give it my 110%. So then in 2015, I decided I could kind of see where there was a lot of other PDFs that were being sold. A lot of the digital marketplace I felt was kind of flooded at that point. So I started selling hard goods. So I had like spray bottles and cleaning cloths and just a small assortment of products that were like my favorites. Shipped them out of my house.
Was that through Etsy as well? Like the physical products? Were you using Etsy for that too?
No, I didn't. So that I went right to Shopify on that. Yeah. So that was like December of 2015 that I launched the shop, and that was great. But the products I was selling lasted a really long time. So I wasn't getting like that repeat.
Oh, right.
Like a glass spray bottle. You don't need one every month because they last. You don't need microfiber cleaning cloths because they can be washed thousands of times. There's that kind of a, interesting mix there. So then like 2019-ish, I started selling actual consumable products. So I added laundry detergent, oxygen whitener, which is like a safe bleach alternative. I had already been selling wool dryer balls, but I've always worked in small quantities and just slowly kind of added new products as people like them. I had paper goods in there too, which was an easy product to sell because that is consumable, but in a different way than laundry detergent is. So 2019, that was really kind of working well. And then the pandemic hit.
Oh, I bet that was good for you. It
was good for me because everyone's at home. Everyone needs to know how to clean. And let me show you what I have.
Lo and behold, you had the perfect products for this. And I'm looking at your webpage now. It's so beautiful, by the way. The colors, everything. Everybody should check it out. But you have laundry detergent spray, soaps, and other things. And that's where I have a lot of questions about the consumables and the stuff that kind of gets used up and then has to kind of come back. But going back to 2015, when you first started selling physical products, I'm curious, where did you find these physical products and what is the biggest challenge? If you could speak to somebody who's like, oh, like I have an audience, I'd love to sell physical products. What would be your number one piece of advice for somebody who's ready to do that? Because having sold a physical product myself, it is a completely different thing than a digital product. What would be your best advice for somebody going down that route?
My best advice is to test and in small quantities. Because if you are going all in on something, you're like, I know this is going to be huge. For me, it's always been the things that I didn't expect to be big that end up being the big products, and the things that I'm like, this is going to sell out in an hour that doesn't sell out in an hour.
What's an example of each of those?
So an example of something that's going to be like a crazy bestseller would be my laundry detergent spray, which is always been in my top 3, but that will sell out like fast once it replenishes. I expected it to be a big product because laundry is a large product space, but people love it. And I love that product. Something that that I thought would be like crazy would be I did a daily planner in quarters. So it was like 4 for a year. And I thought that would be like gangbusters. And it wasn't. So, I mean, and both of those were products that I like asked questions about, interviewed people, like, is this something that you would like? I can't wait to share this. What do you think? That sort of.
You weren't just like randomly trying these things. You did some research and it still didn't hit.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you could also I could relaunch a product in 5 years and it might be the right time for it. Maybe that just wasn't the right time for it. But when you go in, when I do like a paper good, I have to purchase a large amount to make it worth bringing that into my shop. So that has to be a pretty well calculated investment.
Yeah.
But another thing that I've always tried to do is like source as much in the United States as I can, because then I'm going to save on how much it's going to cost to ship that product in. Whenever I'm looking at products, I'm looking at like the whole, like, sure, that might be cheap. Like I can get that for $1 a piece, but it's going to cost me $2 a piece to ship that.
Yeah, on a container, and it'll take weeks and all this stuff, right?
It's a balancing act. Another thing that I think is helpful is I wanted to have like everything. Like I wanted everything that you could use to clean your home and to be able to have all those products, but it's me. I'm not funded by anyone. I don't have like a backer or anything like that. So I can't come in with all the products that some other companies can come in with. So that's hard. I've just tried to be at my own pace too. Like it's not a race to get to 30 products or whatever you want your products to be at. I added a lot of products like in 2020, 2021, 2022, but I'm starting to phase some of them out because they didn't do as well as I anticipated them to do. So I'm kind of now going like starting to shrink my product lines a little bit and go a little bit more in on the consumable goods and less with the non-consumables. So it's just kind of an interesting switch.
Yeah, this is amazing. I'm curious, managing inventory, shipping, packaging, all the stuff that comes with physical products. How did you learn how to figure it out when you first started? Did you have any help or were there any resources that you went to learn how to do this? And are you still working out of your own home and kind of managing inventory from that space? How has it grown since then?
Yeah. So I worked out of my own home for probably 6 months. I realized this was not going to work.
Okay. You're like, I can't stay clean here.
Yeah. So I actually utilized a 3PL and that was okay. But then one of the larger 3PLs reached out to me and that worked okay, but then it didn't, it's just, so I'm in the process of moving warehouses again. And it will be my 5th warehouse spot. I mean, it is just trial and error and looking at your pricing and knowing the right questions to ask. I think that that's really important too, is just because, I mean, your shipping is going to be probably 30% of your profit right there. It goes to shipping. And so trying to find that balance between what your free shipping margin is going to be. Are you going to offer free shipping? How are you shipping things? Are you using, USPS or UPS or FedEx or DHL? And then seeing how much it costs at the end of the month is like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Then you have your warehousing fees and, there's a lot involved in that. It's all been just trial and error, clearly.
Yeah. Are you getting any guidance from anywhere? Are you learning from anybody in particular in terms of, what to do next, or just let's just figure this out as we go?
Just figure it out as I go.
I love it.
Asking lots of questions. And now I know what questions to ask. And I'm actually going back to my first 3PL who didn't have anyone else. And now they have 5 other people. Or 5 other companies. And so it's a better fit for me now. So that's what I'm in the process of right now, next week. So yeah, it's definitely, I was an art teacher for 10 years and that was this has nothing, nothing like being an art teacher other than I know how to clean up a mess really well.
Yes. But we know you're helping a ton of people doing it. I mean, your products are selling well, your brand is growing. It's very well known. What's a question that you should have asked earlier that you didn't?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably having more of a long game, I think, is important. I feel like when you're an entrepreneur, you're so in the weeds on the day to day that it's hard to like see the forest through the trees almost. And so, I mean, I have long-term goals, but they're more like benchmarks and they're more around followers, income, it's like not like more of the business side of things. And I kind of feel like if it had been more business goals rather than like the growth sorts of goals. And I think that that's, if you started in 2009, 2010, it was all about that like obvious, like follower count, readers, viewers, like all of that mattered so much more than I think it does now. And I started my email list early on. So I'm really grateful for that because that was huge because that's the only thing you really own is that list.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Preach. How big is your list today?
Well, I send to about 150,000. My list is over 450,000.
Incredible.
I don't send to every, not everyone gets an email because they don't always open them and I send it to who wants them. So that's just kind of how I do some pretty good list management so that I'm not paying for
extra subs or just dead emails. That's wonderful. Wow. Running a business means legal questions are inevitable. Is this contract or agreement solid? What can I do if a client won't pay me? Am I set up properly for taxes? Well, rather than trying to navigate all of this on your own or searching endlessly online, imagine having a law firm on your side without the high hourly rates. That's exactly what Legal Shield's small business plans offer. With Legal Shield, entrepreneurs get access to real legal support, contract reviews, collection letters, guidance on business formation, and even help handling IRS audits. Members can book consultations, upload documents through the app, and work with a provider law firm that understands small business laws in your state. You also get proactive help on tax and trademark questions so you can stay ahead of legal risks. And if a client delays payment, Legal Shield can send professional collection letters to help you recover what you're owed, all for a fraction of what traditional attorneys charge. Go to LegalShield.com/SPI or call 833-570-9980 to learn more and get big business legal support without a big business budget. That's LegalShield.com/SPI. Still using a copy-paste website? Break the template trap with Framer. Whether you're overwhelmed by traditional site builders or frustrated with cookie-cutter designs, Framer gives you the freedom to create a site that's professional, polished, and uniquely yours. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. It's free to start, allowing you to browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something on your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, parallax scrolling, scroll animations, looping animations, and much more in seconds. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting, generating starter layouts, and can even translate your entire site to any language. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of Pro on the house. That's framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. Tell me a little bit about your traffic today. Back in the day, for all of us who were doing it back then, it was Google, right? It was Google and SEO. Mm-hmm. Is that still important in bringing in traffic, or what are your, I would say, top three modes of getting in front of people besides the email? Obviously, you have that email and you can benefit from getting in front of them kind of at command. But in terms of new traffic and getting out there, what are the top three sources today for you?
Yeah, organic has always been my number one, which is interesting. It's always number one. And I think it's just because people are always looking for how to clean X, how to organize this. That's kind of a common keyword. And I come up at the top. So has always helped me. My blog would be my second source of income. Like my number one page is my free printables page. People are always gravitating towards that. And that's how I've grown my list. I mean, I can definitely say that having that early on was important. And when I started my free printables page, people complained that I asked for the email address. And now I'm like, I'm so glad I asked for the email address. Because people used to want everything, like that's not free, which it's not. You're exchanging an email for something, and they wanted it all for free. And I fought back and said, nope, I'm sorry. This is how you want them. This is how you can get them. But I originally was sharing like from a Google link, and then I quickly learned that wasn't the smartest way to do it. So
yeah, good for you.
Put them all behind a paywall, or not even a paywall, a gate. I don't know, whatever. But then my third would be social media. And that kind of varies. Pinterest has always been pretty high, but Facebook and Instagram, I mean, they kind of compete for that number 3 spot, those as sources. Instagram and Facebook used to be much higher. I mean, they're just not nearly as high. I don't run paid ads at this point, and it's mostly because it hasn't really worked for me. And so I just don't. And I always will revisit it and kind of go back and forth with it. But if, that number 3 with social media, that's just, people are just finding it organically there as well.
Nice. This is such a great insight into the business. And, it sounds like you did micro experiment with ads and it just didn't work. And, again, you have this free traffic coming in, you have the email list. This is, great to take advantage of that, obviously. A few more questions here. This is great. The first one about the consumables. That is a world that is sort of like the holy grail of product business, right? Because those consumables go away and then they got to replenish. And especially if it's good, they're going to continue to come back. How did you weave your way through? Because I know there's like health related things, especially with food, and I don't know if you're offering any food, but these chemicals, and like, how are you making sure that these products are safe and all these kinds of things that go along with things like this? I have some friends who have created, protein for working out, and it's just like, wow, that's kind of crazy. All the regulations and whatnot. Is there a lot of that in things like cleaning products in your world, and kind of how do you manage that?
Yeah. So I use manufacturers that are in the US that already have like the safety data sheets on the products.
Okay.
We have come up with my own formulas for different things. And then they are Leaping Bunny certified and USDA bio-based certified. I could go and get like the EWG certification. I could go and look for like organic, those sorts of things, but that costs a lot of money. And I have not said that that's what I want to spend the money on. It's basically like, here's the ingredients. You can search each and every ingredient on the EWG website and see where they're rated, and then make your own decision, or you can trust me. It's kind of that's how that works. Everything is like, there's no formaldehyde, there is no allergens. So like, no, like not in any of the ingredients. Sometimes there's like avocado in some ingredients. I don't use anything that would be an allergen or a possible allergen. Everything is certified that it rinses clean or clear. So there's no residue in any of the laundry products. And I don't use any artificial fragrances, any of the bad ingredients. Everything is just top-notch ingredients, and they work awesome, but they're non-toxic.
Yeah.
I can't say you can drink this.
Right.
I can't say these are non-toxic products, because they are. So
there are companies, manufacturers that make these sorts of things, and you can work with them to tweak and move things around. They'll obviously have scientists and other people involved that kind of can help guide you. But are you like going into the chemistry lab with them, and you have like a pipette and you're like, let's see what happens if we do this? Like what's that meeting like with them? And is that just a call on Zoom? I'm just so curious to know what that process is like.
Yeah. So I have not gone in person to any of my laboratories. There's 3 that I use, mostly all in the US, but they will meet over like a Zoom call or a phone call, and we'll talk about ingredients. We'll talk about scents. I have my scents formulated from a different manufacturer. So they're like, it's like a custom scent. So they use that formula to scent any of my products. And then I've been like, can we try this ingredient? Like, there's a lot of enzymes in natural cleaning products, because enzymes will remove dirt and odors really easily and safely. So usually what we're tweaking are enzymes. And so they'll send me like samples, like here's 10 samples, test these out. We usually start with just the formulas, and then we work through those and tweak those. And then we add, once I find a formula that I am good with, then we add the scent, and then we test it again and kind of go from there.
Amazing. Thank you for that insight. That's a new world that is so interesting. But how cool is that? I mean, you're making your own products. People are consuming them. They're re-upping, I'm sure, on their subscription to that. How much of your business is subscription based? I'm curious, like how many people are continually getting these things delivered to them? You don't have to share specific numbers, but...
Yeah, no, it's hundreds. It varies from month to month, but it's a different, like you've got to offer the discount for that because you have to have a reason to subscribe. And I think that that's usually the best reason. I can sometimes see if I do a sale, then I'll see people will pause their subscriptions because they'll get, if the sale was better than the subscription, they'll up, there's that kind of part of it too. But I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds of people that are subscribing every month and looking forward to that box of Clean Mama goods. And I definitely, like when I add new products, it's always really fun because then they can let me know what they think. Honestly, people love my products. Like, I don't get returns. I don't get complaints. I mean, if it's anything, it'll be like, well, I prefer this scent to that scent, but that's normal. Like everyone has their favorites, but I think just keeping things as simple as possible and sharing what works for me. I'm pretty picky. So when I do put a product out, it's been probably tested for years before it actually goes live. We've been working on some all-purpose cleaning soap, and it's probably been 2 years that we've been working on that. So I've got a sneak peek on my website now, but it has taken a long time. And that's a simple formula because there's so many components to something to actually get it launched. You got to have the right package. You have to have the right labels, like everything. And then you're tweaking, like testing how long is it shelf safe. So they have to leave it on the shelf for a certain amount of time. They have to like run that through like that safety part of the testing too. I mean, it's not just like a fill and sell kind of a thing. There's a lot that goes into it.
I mean, these are the downsides of a physical thing. Digital product, you can make it, tweak it, it's out there immediately. Yeah. Has it been worth it? All the extra stuff to go along with the physical products to add to your brand?
Yeah, I definitely would say it's worth it. It has not been without hassle or heartache or headache. It's, definitely, but it's been more challenging times. I'm usually like, I like to be very involved in the business. And so that also has its own issues because if I could give it to someone else to take and run with it, that would be a lot easier, but I'm not at that stage yet. So this is, it's all like right here.
Yeah. I'm curious, when you started, for me, a big challenge when I began my business was balancing wanting to start the business and go all in on it. But I'm also a new parent and I had to, balance those things. How did you manage those choices and the sort of where your attention went and still showing up as an amazing mom, but also as a business owner? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I think for me, I've realized that I was much more productive when my kids were younger and I had smaller amounts of time. So now that they're in school all day, like I might get as much done in 6 hours, but I could get that done in a 45-minute nap.
Yeah. You had like a force function kind of.
Yeah.
Like it was in your laser-like thing.
Yeah. And there was less online distractions too. I feel like there's a lot of things that just distract me online because there's just a lot of noise. You open up Instagram and it's just like, what am I doing wrong now?
Oh yeah.
Tell me oh, have you tried this? Oh, have you tried, and I only follow 200 and some people by design because I don't want all the stuff, but then I'll be fed an ad. I mean, it's just I did not have those types of distractions. And so I think that's a really big shift for me, but I find that I did get a lot more done when my kids were younger. And I think it was just more that laser focus that I had to get it done in that amount of time. And now it's kind of more open-ended. I mean, I was blogging 3 days a week and no matter what, I had 3 blog posts every week, but the pictures didn't have to be perfect. It wasn't, there's just it's so different. nothing was, perfection. I could just post a link to my blog on my Facebook page. Everyone saw it,
Yeah.
It's just very different. Now you have to have like a reel and I mean, it's different.
It's definitely different for sure. I'm curious to finish up here. I know in 2010, Marie Kondo came out with her book. What was the name of that book again?
Life-changing habit of tidying up or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's right. Life-changing magic of tidying up. And that kind of created this craze of cleanliness and cleaning. And it was around that time that I recognized that there were a lot of cleaning influencers, I guess, that kind of came into the scene to start blogging, creating videos about this. How have you been able to stay not just relevant, but even at the forefront of this industry in your way? And how have you been able to play that long game here as opposed to just like, oh, here's this trend and I'm going to go kind of smash it and see what happens? You've been in this for a very long time. You still remain, at the top of it and are helping so many more people. How have you been able to do that? What have you been focusing on that has allowed that to happen?
Yeah, I think I struggled for a long time thinking like, maybe I'm not doing it right, or maybe that's a different, like, am I saying the right things? Am I doing the right things? But when I kind of came right down to it, it's consistency. And that's what I show in my routine. And that's what I also show in just how I do things. I'm still showing up. I'm still posting on my blog. I'm still sharing emails. I still have a shop. I'm talking about the same thing, but now I'm reaching different people too. So like, I have a very different, like my age range is like 25 to 55, but I know I have some followers that are like in their 70s that are struggling with clutter or like asking for help. So it definitely ebbs and flows, but I'm still reaching the person that needs my approach. It's different. It's not the same. There's room for real life with the routine. Whereas I think there's, like, even Marie Kondo has said, like, after she had kids, she didn't agree with everything she said before. I mean, I think she said that probably like last year. So, I mean, it was like everyone was talking about like her revolutionary statement. But I was like, well, of course. Like,
she's evolved now.
Everyone knew that when she said it. I mean, I think everyone said, well, she doesn't have kids, so that's how she can do this. So, I mean, it's just, I can only keep sharing my thing, my stuff, what I've been working on, and hope that it reaches the right people and that people, whoever it resonates with is who it's supposed to resonate with. And I know that it's a different approach, in a sea of people that are all trying to do the same thing. I always hope that mine stands out because it's me.
Amazing, Becky. This has been an incredible conversation. And thank you so much for opening up the doors a little bit to how your business runs and what it's doing. CleanMama.com. Any final words of advice for anybody out there who is building a brand, who wants to expand it, but also still remain sane while doing so? What might you say to finish off this episode for us?
Yeah, I would say as much as you want to go fast, I would say go slow and don't look around. Just go in your own lane. And yeah, I mean, it's okay to look around and see what other people are doing, but if it's distracting you, just put your blinders on and do your thing. Amazing.
Any other places other than cleanmama.com you would love for people to go and connect with you at?
Yeah, you can see me on Instagram at Clean Mama. My Pinterest account is there too. I'm on Facebook at Clean Mama. I kind of play around on TikTok, but I think it's the Clean Mama there because someone else took Clean Mama. So
yeah, and we'll see how long TikTok lasts now that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to fight that battle.
Yeah. No, well, we appreciate you, Becky. Thank you so much for this insight, and we'll have all the links and stuff on our show notes. But I appreciate you so much, and congratulations on everything, and looking forward to seeing where you go from here.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Becky from cleanmama.com. Really, really love how she opened up and shared a lot of the insights, especially when it came to the development of her products and what that might take, because I've always thought about what it would be like to start a physical business that involves things like consumables or things that, go on a person's skin. I mean, there's a lot that goes along with that. Obviously, I've created a physical product, but it was an invention called the Switch Pod, which is a little bit different, but also the same in that, you have a target audience and you're selling them something. And I'm a little bit jealous that she can continue to sell to the same people over and over and over again because she's created this product that just works so well. And her blog and her mission, as well as her loyal audience, it's just so cool to see and so inspiring. So Becky, thank you so much. Clean Mama, CleanMama.com is where you'd want to go to check out all that she has to offer. Thank you, Becky. And thank you for listening all the way through. I appreciate it. And again, like I said in the very beginning, I love these conversations because these are businesses that we didn't even know existed. Maybe you did, but I didn't. And it just shows that there's always more opportunity. There's always people out there that you can help in your own special way. And just love how Becky did it. Great job, Becky. And thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we got a lot more interviews coming your way. Can't wait to share them with you. Cheers, and wishing you all the best. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Smart Passive Income podcast at smartpassiveincome.com. I'm your host, Pat Flynn. Sound editing by Duncan Brown. Our senior producer is David Grabowski, and our executive producer is Matt Gartland. The Smart Passive Income podcast is a production of SPI Media and a proud member of the Entrepreneur Podcast Network. Catch you next week. I get it. You want to grow your business, but selling at scale feels overwhelming. You're drowning in complicated funnels, creating different lead magnets, or constantly posting on social media. And that gets exhausting fast, especially when you're trying to sell to hundreds or thousands of people. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? A score app quiz or assessment asks your audience key questions and gives them instant personalized results based on their answers. Your audience gets to know where they are now and shows them the steps they need to hit their goals. You can set up a quiz in minutes using Score App's templates and have a powerful lead magnet that'll do the selling for you. The best part is your audience actually wants to take this quiz, and you build huge amounts of trust before you even make a single offer. No hard sales, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. Just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI. Hey, fellow podcaster, does this sound like something you've experienced? You record your podcast episode on one platform, download the files, edit in another app, then fire up a different tool just to create these social clips. Well, it can be clunky, time-consuming, and frankly overwhelming, especially for creators trying to grow. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Riverside. Riverside is the all-in-one platform. Record, edit, and repurpose your podcast content all in one place. You just log in, record with your guests no matter where you are in the world, and just like that, studio-quality audio and high-resolution video. We use Riverside here at SPI as well now. With built-in AI, I can automatically clean up my audio, saving myself so much editing time, and it can even auto-generate clips to make promoting the show a breeze. And with Magic Clips, I can grab the best moments and repurpose them as short-form video, perfect for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or Instagram, without re-recording a thing. So if you're tired of juggling tools and want a faster, simpler way to create and scale your content, it's time to try Riverside, built by creators for creators. Just go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART.